Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast, My Hero Academia edition. Today we are covering chapter 344. Oof. This was titled Stars. Joining me, as always, are my co hosts and great friends, Isak Wolff and Leah Rydell. And guys, Rin said it last week. We're in the end game. And Isaac, I'm gonna just toss this over to you right quick. You nailed it with that Shinso prediction of him brainwashing the Aoyama family. What
I
like?
mean,
Go ahead.
it was kind of obvious if you really think about it. If considering they argue they foreshadowing him have a part in all this.
Well, yes and no, because this is a thing I didn't get a chance to express properly last week, and I was gonna clarify it this week, regardless of how it went down. His power doesn't allow him to make people speak. They made a point to mention that. And so they kind of retconned that a little bit in this chapter, saying, oh, yeah, working with Eraserhead, I've leveled up a little bit and now I can make them talk. That was kind of strange to me. Leo, I know you were talking about quirk evolutions the last couple of weeks and like getting some power ups as we get to the end of the series. Did that surprise you that he kind of had a mini evolution in this chapter?
Yeah, so I think that we are potentially going to see some quirk evolutions coming up here. I think there's kind of been this underlying evolution thing happening the whole time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if during this final battle we see some quirks actually excel beyond what we've seen them previously.
Yeah. I just hope it's not like a Deus Ex Machina type of thing where all of a sudden Uraraka can fly and levitate a million buildings or some nonsense, you know? Like
Brace yourself.
Small growth like Shinso makes sense and I'll allow it. But if I see like Ida running and time traveling like the Flash, I'm done. I'm just done.
I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but Shoto was able to interfere with Gabi. Add enough, kind of, to me, it just seemed like we're going to see some evolutions here.
I mean, I guess it depends how you interpret that. Like, I always thought Shoto was stronger than Dabi anyway. Am I wrong there?
Oh, really? I thought the blue flame symbolized. I know it's the hotter flames than the regular flames that they have, but I always kind of interpreted Dabi to be like a notch better.
I get what you mean with the flames, because that's logical. I just feel that Dabi's fire is so hot that he's burning himself. So Shoto
is even more dangerous if you think about it.
Right, but like Shoto just has to hold serve for a few minutes, and Dabi might knock himself out. That's where I'm coming from. I'm like, Shoto's got the ice wall, the heaven-piercing ice wall. He's got the fire. He's learning from Endeavor. I just always assumed, like, yeah, Dabi's fire might be hotter than Shoto's flames, but overall, I thought Shoto was the more rounded fighter between the two, which is why he's Endeavor's favorite, essentially, right? That was the whole issue.
I don't know, man. We're going to have to see about that. I know what you mean. He has a lot more tools in the toolkit, but them hot flames, man, that ice will come tumbling down.
I don't know, because Dabi couldn't beat Getten, and Getten's power is using store-bought ice. So that's where my respect for his power level kind of dissipated.
Yeah, that's true. It's been a while since I've seen Dabi even battle, to be honest with you.
Yeah. We saw the last time we saw him in the major battle was in the My Villain Academia arc in the anime. So
yeah.
He did fight like Hawks in the manga, but that was a long time ago. So in this chapter, we get the flashback of finally learning what All Might and Aizawa's plan was. I don't know about you guys, I love that we kind of took both of them and they worked together with Tsukuichi to make this master plan to stop All for One. Using Kurogiri's portal quirk, having Monoma copy it, having Shinso brainwash the Aoyamas, having class, having the support course, right? Having the support course craft these barriers to kind of split the villains up. Excuse me. I just think it's really cool because this chapter is again titled Stars, and Monoma is going on about how he was always told he'd be a supporting character, how his power is better as a support character, how the support course, they're not the heroes, how Shinso couldn't get into the hero course, and all of that is going to lead to victory, essentially, right? We think that this might be the final battle. We have quote unquote 1 year of My Hero left. It doesn't mean My Hero is getting to the end of 2022. It very well might end by summer. So I don't know about you guys, but what are your thoughts on like incorporating these lesser known characters and having them play such an integral role in Eraserhead and All Might's planning to take down All for One?
Good, because this is called My Hero Academia, not Deku's journey to being the strongest. Sure, you should have the biggest focus of Deku, arguably, but you shouldn't just sideline everyone and just pretend that you're not there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with Isaac. I think that we've gotten far enough in the manga here to really see that the way superhero society is right now is not working. And it's clearly because every hero wants their own glory, right? I mean, All Might came along and was the symbol of peace in order to be the beacon of light, the person to save the day, the one that would always show up with a smile. That's an ideal that's flawed, and it's proven to be flawed because we see through the teammates and the whole class 1A that teamwork is most essential to get any hero work done. Like at this point, they have to work together. There's no showing up and saving the day alone anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And it's perfect, I feel like, because we have All Might essentially thinking like Deku in this issue. This is a really good All Might chapter, by the way. Like we haven't gotten an All Might centric chapter since Stain, technically, I guess, which was about a month and a half ago. But I just really like getting Eraserhead and learning that he's basically done, right? He can't do anything else aside from work on the sidelines. Same with All Might. But I also love just this panel where All Might and Tsukuchi is like, we failed once. Even though he ripped your guts out, you kept fighting and we won't fail again. And guys, the death bells are ringing again. That panel is like, oh crap, this is going to go one or two ways. They're going to win, or All Might's going to die. That's what that page felt like to me. I don't know about you. Especially at the end here where we have the final page of All Might and All for One kind of like staring each other down. It's just so good. But yeah, they're thinking like Izuku, right? They're thinking 10 steps ahead. They're thinking about how All for One's going to react. And even Deku's narrating a bit like he underestimated us, but this time we have him, played right into their hands. And seeing Class A jump through that portal, Avengers style, right? That's what Ren said last week, where the portals start opening and all the heroes are showing up. That is a clear homage to Avengers Endgame. It's going to be exciting because we already split them up for the one-on-one battles. Is there any matchup that you guys are like dying to see coming up in the next couple chapters?
Todoroki.
The Todorokis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see that ASAP.
I think we're getting that one first. The way Shoto jumps through, talking about, I'm going to take you down, you big jerk. Also sounding like Bakugo now, which
I mean, funny. That makes sense that he sounds like Bakugo in that regard.
I just love how they're all rubbing off on each other a little bit. Deku's getting a little more arrogant and cocky. Shoto is spewing insults. Bakugo is working together with the team. It's all coming together in a really cool way.
But let's face it, if that was Bakugo, he would be more foul-mouthed.
Yeah, he would. But, baby steps. This is still Shoto Todoroki we're talking about. But yeah, this was just really exciting to get like some of the backstory and seeing how they all come into play. Seeing Monima having to master this new quirk in a matter of days, and like all the preparation, all the planning, all the allowing for how do we stop All for One? What is Shinso's power going to be? Or how's it going to work? Shinso's new costume. Momo still being the voice of reason in this class, even though everybody's just excited to have Shinso around. And it's just like, I feel like personally, it's a perfect My Hero Academia chapter. It hits all the beats that I'd want from a My Hero story. And even though the Shinso thing does kind of feel like it came out of nowhere, even though Isaac did predict it, it still works. We've already seen quirk evolutions, right? So it makes sense.
I wonder if we're going to see Rewind come into play at some point here. We haven't seen Eri in a while. It seems like it may come in handy for something. Also, I think it's about time we get to some battling. I think we've really set the stage here for a lot of split up final moments, which is great. Let's stop dancing around them though now, and let's get right to it. I think we could be looking at the conclusion, like you said, Mike, by like summer, fall, or something.
Yeah, like I feel like we're gonna get all the major battles and then an epilogue. That's really what it feels like. If this is it, if this is where they win, it's over, right? So,
right.
I have a question about the battles. So we have all of Class A like jumping through these portals. We have the great page of Shoto going after Toya, and Bakugo's right behind him. But then under that, we have like Sugar Man and Red Riot and Tailman and Ingenium. That's all cool. But then you have Uraraka. What is she gonna do? What is Uraraka and Sue gonna do in this battle situation?
Both them all. Both them all. They'll all be able to fly.
Oh, you mean like her teammates?
Yeah, with gravity.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I'm just wondering, a lot of the kids in Class A are support oriented, right? So like she's not gonna get down there and scrap with Spinner, though she might be able to beat Spinner because I have no respect for Spinner whatsoever. But it's just like I thought they'd be like a second line of defense, but they are just front and center taking it to them.
I mean, look, Bakugo did wipe her, but I mean, she was brave enough to go up against Bakugo. I say throw her on the front lines, let her use that gravity, and really, I mean, she can really hold her own, I think.
Gunhead martial arts strikes again.
Yeah, and there's no Mineta though. So to your point, like some of the support students are hanging back.
Can you imagine if Mineta just like we take down All for One with all them stupid great balls? That would just be so embarrassing for him to go out there.
I mean, I would love it. I think Shigaraki might kill him.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask you guys, because I just want to touch on this before we get too far gone. You mentioned Rewind. I don't know how I feel like Eri has to factor in at some point, but I don't know how. Because nobody wants to take a 7-year-old to a battlefield.
Right. And I don't think, and what I don't want to happen is I don't want her to be like, oh yeah, they died and then she saved them and that. Like, let's not have that be
Deku gets decayed and then she rewinds time.
Right. Let's not do that. But I do think we could potentially, maybe this is reaching here. Maybe she uses it on Kurogiri to get their friend back.
Yeah, like I don't know, because Kurogiri is technically dead. I don't know if it can she raise the dead with Rewind?
Right, who knows?
Right. I feel like, and this is crazy, but I feel like the battle's gonna get down to where all these heroes are knocked out, and it's just Deku versus Shigaraki and All for One. And Eri has to rewind somebody to help Izuku out. And that's when All Might shows up.
Holy shit, that would be absolutely legendary, not gonna even front. And it would be fucking awesome if that happened and Deku was able to use 100% by himself. Because then at that point, he could fight without Eri. and All Might would rely then on the rewinding of Eri.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really look at it, I know that you don't think All Might's gonna die, but you can sort of say that maybe they take him down together, and but he gets damage that takes sort of like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me kind of thing.
I mean, if All
And
Might dies in battle, that makes sense. It's just we never had a situation where I felt All Might would be in a scenario where he would die. Like I feel like Shigaraki and All for One wouldn't be anywhere near him. So I'm set, but in the context of he somehow ends up on the battlefield having to fight, then yeah, he very well could die. I want to put it that way. Like from all the other scenarios we were having this conversation, it never made sense for him to be there in the first place. But with the caveat of, hey, if he gets rewound to not necessarily Prime All Might, but like Season 1 All Might, where he has
I was
power.
gonna say, bro, I don't know if he's like Prime All Might. He is gonna wipe the floor with one.
He takes them both down. He doesn't even need Deku at that point.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, he would just blow them back with like a big gust of wind and probably tear both of them up after that.
Yeah, but like take Season 1 All Might and then current Deku.
Boom.
Or, like two heroes All Might, they win. I still think they win, but it'll be close.
So, okay, do you think that's leaning too much on All Might though?
I don't know. That's the thing. That's why I'm saying if we're gonna factor in Eri, that's the only thing I can see her being useful because I don't want her reviving the dead. I don't want her being strapped to Deku's back again for infinite 100.
Yeah, let's not do that again. That was, I will say, that was such a badass preview of how he looks at 100%. Like that was phenomenal. I gotta admit, but let's not do it again because then you just create a reliance on that ability instead of having Izuku master it.
Right. So I feel like if she's gonna factor into the story, it's rewinding All Might because she already gave us the million back, right? So I also don't know how often you want to pull the hero's gone, but Eri brings them back.
Let me throw a caveat to that. I think that we could see Deku use One for All in a way that it does spread to the entire Class 1A and All Might.
We're sharing chakra, baby.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. that Naruto sharing chakra shit is just the same as Goku asking for Spirit Bomb. I mean, it's all, there's always some kind of caveat to where they're sharing abilities with everyone else.
We never can. We can't go a single My Hero Academia episode without Naruto or Dragon Ball reference.
I promise. The last chapter, we're not going to mention Naruto at all. Scout's honor. If we do,
I doubt it.
25 cents.
I don't think that's going to happen.
$1 goes into the Naruto jar on that episode.
All right. Well, I will say this though: if that's the case, then yeah, I think because he doesn't really have One for All anymore. But like, if Deku just gave him part of it, and then Eri rewound him, holy moly, man, that would be the backup they need. Like truly,
yeah.
And that would also echo Heroes Rising a bit. And that's how he wanted it to end, right? That was like his original ending there.
Exactly.
I think that some of those caveats is still the same, including Deku sharing One for All. I mean, the quirk is called One for All, and he's the quote-unquote perfect user. I don't think they even needed to introduce all that, but whatever. But
yeah, we didn't need to make him a chosen one. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, I think that kind of defeated the purpose of the teensy bit, but it didn't like. It wasn't like, oh man, I just hate it now. But I think it just kind of like killed the purpose a little. But anyway, spread it to everyone, and then everyone's got a more advanced version of their quirk. Because I mean, they got the army coming. Let's see, they've got Nomus coming. I mean, like, there's gonna need to be some sort of enhancement because.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, we're sitting in Class A. They're all really strong, but I do not see Uraraka taking down 2 Nomus.
No, and see that would also play to maybe not a quirk evolution, but just a buff of their quirk. So then it kind of makes sense that they're all able to, like, Aravity is able to lift a bunch of buildings at once, and Bakugo's explosion quirk would probably clear the battlefield. I mean,
sort of having her like moving the capture unit easier, sort of like you having her doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Could you imagine Ingenium with that buff? Oh my god.
Or even Endeavor. Like, Endeavor's the most skilled person here, right?
Good lord. Endeavor one for all. Holy shit.
Like, that's what, like, if you're saying he shares it with the whole battlefield, Endeavor, Midako, Ryukyu. That
maybe not them. I mean, I kind of feel like it's like 1A will probably be the last one standing.
I say you have to give it to Midako, though, because she's already depowered a little bit because of what happened before. But Endeavor should be fine.
Man, they would obliterate the battlefield with the two of them with the one for all buff.
Yeah. But not trying to sidetrack with the area conversation and the sharing powers type of deal. As it stands now, besides the Todorokis, Isaac, what's the fight you're looking forward to, since we have them kind of grouped off a little bit?
Honestly, that's the fight I'm looking forward to the most.
That's why I said aside from that.
I have no fucking idea, if I'm being honest. Maybe being a bit generic and say Deku versus All for One / Shigaraki.
That's what I want to know, what's going down, right? Like, Shigaraki's here. Shigaraki hasn't really said a word. Again, I don't know if he's even there, really.
Speaking of shit. Okay, go on.
Wait, oh my god, I just thought of something.
Shoot.
So, okay. This will be a full circle moment if Deku offered his hand out to All Might and gave him, a little bit of embers to bring him back. That would literally be the first episode coming right back around.
That would be epic. We're going to have to bend the rules a little bit to figure out how that is going to work.
I mean, if Deku shared one for all with All Might again, I don't know if that's a reach.
It's not like, every time the power gets passed on, it gets stronger. So if Deku, again, we're going to have to come up with some sort of way for him to be able to share the power in the first place. Because if he shares it, doesn't that mean it's going to be even more powerful than the version Deku has? And All Might's so sickly, will it make his arms pop off?
Old man.
It could also...
No,
it could explain why, if he did that, he couldn't handle the new one for all, so to speak.
No, I hate it. I don't want one for all to be the reason All Might dies. That'd be the worst way for him to go out.
God, that'd be terrible.
It's possible.
But that's very cool. That's good symbolism, right? Of you can become a hero. And rewinding a little bit to, you were talking about how it kind of cheapened it, making Deku a chosen one. It really does, because the theme of the story is that anyone can become a hero, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're saying, oh, he's one of the only people who can harness this power, it's just like, guess not.
Yeah, it kind of defeated the purpose of like it being passed down as a beacon to help anybody become the hero they've always wanted to be.
Yeah,
I think that the reason why I think this sharing is going to happen and that it will work is because the first user, that was his quirk to pass it along. I think if it amplifies through 8 other people, you would think they would be able to just share small bits of it with other people.
Yeah. That's why I think by the end of it, if you wanted to do a sequel series, you can have Deku pass on or lose the stored up powers, but he can keep like the base super strength that he originally had and the one that All Might had. That way he's depowered, and so he doesn't have to fight villains like All for One or All for Shigaraki in the sequel. He can fight quote unquote normal threats like the rest of his class.
Yeah, let's be real. Do y'all think Deku adult is gonna be as like stacked as All Might? I don't think he's gonna be presented as like that buffed up. But I mean,
he'll be Spider-Man. He'll
Yes.
be ripped, but he won't be Superman.
yeah, he's just like not gonna have the giant size. I'm like, dude, I cannot imagine Deku looking like All Might.
That's what I was like. My sister was like, "Are those kids going to be swole like the adults? Like, is Bakugo going to be walking around the size of Endeavor in like 4 or 5 years?"
That I could see, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see that, but I see Deku being more like a Hawks build, if anything. He's not going to
Yeah.
be super big.
He's gonna be like you said, a Spider-Man, lean, cut, but not really like sized up.
Yeah. It was just a really solid chapter. I'm really glad we got the minor characters one moment to shine. I do wonder where the rest of Class B is though in the story, because like we pulled Nonema. Where are the rest of them? I feel like if they're not on that battlefield, they need to be like second line of defense or something. And also, hold on, let me just check my notes here. How is this grouping gonna work? Like, do you think it's random, or do you think All Might and Aizawa have targeted pairings for like, we know that Deku needs to be the one to fight this person?
Targeted.
Yeah, it's gonna be targeted.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a specific split up that they're working with.
Yeah, makes sense. Like Bakugo is a tank. He's the tank of the group. Honestly, you could probably just have him say, "Hey, go take down 5 Nomus," and have him clear the field that way.
I mean, really, like he would be front of the line, you know?
Yeah. He and Kirishima like, "Hey, go handle the Nomus. Endeavor and Shoto take down Dabi."
If you look, he's actually coming out of his own portal by himself. So
Yeah.
I wonder if he's like split into his own group alone.
Oh gosh, that would be so awesome.
just Bakugo smash.
Exactly. Him and Midako just take out Nomus. Everybody else has like specific matchups.
I mean,
You only makes me even more sure that Bakugo is going to die. Honestly, in a, I'm taking you with me. God damn it! Why?
I feel like that would only happen like if he had a pairing in the League of Villains, like how Uraraka has Toga, Shoto has Dabi, Deku has Shigaraki. I can see that, but I don't think Bakugo's losing to some randoms.
Yeah, like I don't think I will say that's one criticism of the villain team is that there's a very slim amount of pair ups.
Yeah.
Like meaningful pair ups where it's like, oh, they built a rivalry through the series. There's not a lot of those, and so it does make it seem like. But I mean, here I go, y'all. Prepare yourself. Neji jumped in the way of Naruto. I don't think it's far off.
I mean,
that some huge and powerful quirk comes crashing toward Deku, and Bakugo jumps in the way.
Heck, maybe he's overpowered by several Nomos and take all of those down with him.
You know what? I'm saying this, and this has already happened, and Bakugo survived.
That I'm glad you caught that because I didn't want to be the wet blanket of like, yeah, do we want to do that twice though? Like maybe you could have Ida do it now.
Oh man, not Ida. No.
I'm sort of serious though with the Nomos. I mean, him taking down several Nomos with him would be very Bakugo.
Yeah, like maybe even a self-destruct.
Oof. That would hurt. What if, hear me out, what if he we joked about him taking down All for One in our theories episode, but what if that's he self-destructs and takes down All for One, leaving only Shigaraki, and that's who Deku has to be matched up with?
I would actually laugh.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about that.
Maybe I have some sick humor, but I would actually laugh, sort of like Horikoshi actually did at Your Madman. Kind of laugh.
I am not laughing at children dying.
Right.
It's the more of the idea that he had the balls of doing that kind of laugh, if you get what I mean.
That would be an adult way to go out, but I don't know. For like a story's sake, I'm like, I don't know about that.
I don't either. Like, I'm not quite sure how. Like, I've been very vocal on this podcast, but I don't really like the all for one Shigaraki sharing a body, sharing like a hive mind type of deal. So I'm trying to see if we're even going to bother breaking them up, or if that's just how it's going to be until the end of the show, into the end of the series. Like, what do you guys think about that? Are we actually going to split them up? Because we've been saying that they were going to split them up for like 6 months now, and there's been no movement on it.
I don't know. I kind of do wish that All for One was killed at some point. It just feels as though there was a torch passing at one point, and then Horikoshi was like, no, and backed up and was like, no, we gotta keep All for One in. And I'm like, but why? Wasn't the whole purpose for him to pass this down to Shigaraki?
Yeah, it feels like, and I've said this before too, like All Might and All for One probably should have just died in Camino, right, in season 3. Because up until fairly recently, All Might hasn't had much to do. All for One didn't really have much to do, but they both were just hanging around for some reason.
Hanging out.
Right.
Hanging out. Dude, United States of Smash should have been the end of both of them.
Yeah. It really should have. He saves Deku. He says it's your turn. And then it's like he's done.
I mean, and if they... Look, here's the thing. If he pointed at him and they both were just kind of like obliterated at that moment, like both of them were just like wiped away, I think it would have been a powerful storytelling move. Of just like, okay, now Shigaraki's got to hurry up. Now Deku's got to, hurry the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think people would have been like really upset though if All Might would have been wiped?
I mean, at that point in the story, that was season 3. That had to have been like episode 40 or so. That's really like the first act of the story overall. So it would have been a little bit of backlash, but also it's like the sensei dies. That's not something unheard of. That's not something new.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it would have been a little shock, especially with like the arc that followed was like them going to get their provisional licenses. That also would have added a new level of pressure to Deku, though, in that arc, which, in my opinion, is the worst arc of the entire series. Him having to make sure he gets his license so he can still hold All Might's memory and honor that legacy. I feel like that would have been a really good place to end those two characters. And then, especially when the doctor shows up later on, is like, Shigaraki, I can give you the power of All for One. I feel like that would also have bigger story narratively of like, All for One chose you for this reason. All Might chose Deku for this reason. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I feel like I wouldn't have changed it for was the moment where Deku versus Kacchan Part 2, when All Might shows up and he like comforts Bakugo in that moment and telling him that, hey, if you two work together, you can be the greatest heroes of all time. That's the only moment post United States of Smash that I feel like was worth keeping All Might around for.
Yeah, I think that could have been done before.
Yeah.
United States of, I mean, you could have just smoothed that up in the series, and I don't think it would have really affected much. Mm-hmm. But I do just feel like at least All for One, maybe All Might sticking around isn't so bad, definitely. But I think just having All for One still around is a little weird. So now for me, I'm like, okay, are they gonna like fuse together in the final battle? Like, what's gonna happen here? Shigaraki kill him? Are they gonna fuse together? And then what helps is like Deku extracts Shigaraki out from that. I don't know. I'm so curious as to where things are headed with this kind of dynamic duo of villainy we've got going on here.
So, Deku, I'm your father.
Huh?
We're ignoring the Star Wars reference of Dad for One. So,
Dad for One. Jesus. Yeah, no. Good God, that'd be terrible. I would. Okay, if that were the case, I'd be like, well, damn, we just turned into a full-on like spoof of pop culture here.
I will become the Joker. This is my villain origin story.
Deku,
No.
like, you thought I was telling you my story of being the greatest hero? No. I meant villain.
Mm-mm. I feel like, and we've mentioned this before, but I feel like you have to take this to the Vestige world, right? That's like we already saw in the Vestige world before, of like All for One is connected to Shigaraki, like their psyches are intertwined. So Deku has to probably free them from in there. And All Might even says in this chapter, bringing it back around to today's chapter, All for One's not going to retreat, right? He has One for All in reach. He has an army behind him. All he has to do is beat a 16-year-old kid, and the power he's been longing for all these years will be his. So I feel like it might be the trump card of Deku lets go of the power and tries to win the thing in the Vestige world. And that, again, ties back to the idea of, like, Deku might end the series quirkless. Like
I would hate that.
That's a possibility.
I've gotten to the point where I'm like, please, no. Nope. Let's not do that.
I can see it. I like maybe he just has Black Whip and he's Spider-Man now. Like I can see like each power slowly losing as they fight All for One in the Vestige space.
I think if he ends it with just the super strength, I'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least have it be the original power.
Yeah, I mean we spent 4 seasons with just super strength alone, so we're accustomed to him just having that one. Fajen is just too crazy for anybody to keep. That's all I'm saying.
I will give you merit there of like him losing them throughout that. I think that God, that would feel like Legend of Korra, wouldn't it? When she freaking lost the Avatar connection.
Only Jeez. Way better because nothing really came of that.
Yeah, amen.
Like if you're gonna do something that big in the Legend of Korra, I want it to feel like it matters. And to Korra, it mattered. But to the audience, it's like, well, I guess we don't see Aang anymore. Anyway, you know, that's a different podcast.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, whoop, ripped it out. All right, well, guess what? It worked out for you in the end. Like, hell.
It's not like she lost like her bending from that. It's not like she had to relearn the elements or anything like that. So it's like, whatever. Whereas here, I feel like it'd be very important if like Deku knows he's going to lose Fajen. He's going to lose Float. He's going to lose Black Whip. And he is just going to keep fighting no matter what, even until he ends up quirkless. I feel like that is a satisfying way to do it. If you wanted to have him, like, again, you don't have to have him in completely quirkless. He can just lose all the extra abilities. I don't know. This thing can go any way. We have so many theories that we've gone over the course of doing these podcasts, and some of them turned out right, some of them didn't. Notably in this chapter, Hawks is still nowhere to be seen, so I wonder if there's another phase to this operation that they have going on.
Yeah, there's got to be a Hawks with Class B.
Ooh, that'd be great.
Because, I mean, it's just like, okay, you got number 1, number 2, Class 1A, Class 1B. I think it would be cool if Hawks was coming through a portal with the 1B kids. Because, yeah, we got to get them back in the mix, man. Like, come on. Isn't it every hero here? I'm not going to sit back and believe they all walked away.
Yeah, this might be a video for another day, but I feel like Class B has better quirks than Class A anyway. So they'd be the ones I'd want out there.
You know, I think that's true. I think Class 1A works better, works together better, but I think Class B has the better and more advanced versions of quirks. I mean,
get Mudman to sink them into the ground, get Mushroom Girl to just choke them all out. You're done, man.
Yeah, who knows what is going to... Maybe they're like the last wave here of like, oh, you know, there's some people still up on the villain side, and they come in and clean up.
I can see that, yeah.
And then All for One just gets super angry and takes them all out, and it's down to Deku, Shigaraki, and All for One on the battlefield.
And that's when All Might jumps through the portal and says, I am here one last time.
Yep, but he's just like running up as an old man. He's like, I'm here, Midoriya, I'm here, and he gives him the power.
That'd be crazy. Now, I've mentioned all of Horikoshi's art. before, and how it kind of leads into what he's doing in the manga. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, but during the anime season, he posted a picture of Ida, and Ida looked slightly different than what he normally does. He had like a slightly different costume. He had a different helmet. And Ida in that fan art was just like, okay, cool. The thing that's interesting though is that Ida's new costume was already featured in that art. He just didn't reveal it yet. So give me a second here. All Might. There's an image of All Might that Horikoshi drew that I feel like might be a thing. And I don't know how I feel about it. Give me 1 second. And while I look for that, was there anything else you guys wanted to discuss while I do this quick Google search?
I think I'm good on my end. Some great predictions this episode. I'm curious to see that image you're talking about because, I don't remember that, but man, I just be blowing through.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
I think I shared it before.
You share a lot of My Hero Academia stuff, so I can't keep track on it.
I know. I shared it on an episode before. So
Mike over here making stuff up, y'all.
Ha ha ha. Give me a second. Okay, here it is. Give me 1 sec. I found the picture. I just need to blow it up so it won't be like the meme from Community where like you can't read it, you can't make it out. So I'm going to hit share screen right now. Share tab. And this one. This is art Horikoshi posted like in 2017, I'd say. And this is from the same line where he drew Deku with Gran Torino's cape, that I pointed out. I don't know if you were on this one, Leah, but he posted art of Deku wearing Gran Torino's cape in like 2018 or so. And I feel like we might get All Might. This is why I keep saying if All Might ends up on that battlefield, what if he shows up powerless, but like he's got stains like knife and sword on him? What if this comes into play somehow? I don't know. That's just where my mind went when we were talking theories. And so
oh man. Ooh, I mean, that would be so dope. Like, let's be real, that'd be badass. I think there's a little merit there. I mean, it's drawn right here.
Yeah, it's something. And again, let me just pull this other one up for reference because I did mention this with Isaac on an episode before. It's another art that Horikoshi did. I don't know what, it could have been an anime expo or something. But this is how I kind of figured Deku would have Gran Torino's cape because this was from years ago.
There it is.
And Deku has a knife on his hip, which kind of looks like Aizawa's. So that's interesting. I wonder if that'll come into play later. But Horikoshi's an interesting follow on Twitter because all he does is post art most of the time. But that art always ends up being super important later. But yeah, that's all I got for today's episode. Isaac, was there anything else you wanted to go over?
No, because I can't think of any more Star Wars reference to mention.
Gotcha. Out of the like 20 Star Wars shows, movies, all that stuff, you can't think of anything else, really? Not even they all end up dying like in Rogue One?
No.
Oh, please, dear God, no.
I do think it'd be crazy if the final image is Deku seeing All Might's Force Ghost in the Vestige world. Back at Tatooine Station.
Oh, jeez.
Rise of Skywalker jokes, people. That wraps this episode up. Leo, what's going on this week, man?
Coming up this week, man, we not too many reviews, but definitely some reactions. We got Superman and Lois finally getting back on that schedule with that. A couple of Batman clips and a lot coming up. There's a lot around Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and something I'm working on with Sonic. So come on over to YouTube, type in Geekly Goods in the search bar. You'll see 2 G's. That's me. Come on over, hit that subscribe button, and let's talk some geek, y'all. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Epic. Yeah, Batman week is coming up. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, it is. Can't wait.
On my channel, we got Fully Coolly Progressive at Novice Cinephile, and also ranking every single DC animated show ever made. I'm joined by Jack on that one. It's a blast. It's over an hour long because there's 28 DC shows, guys. And we rank all of them in a tier list. And it might surprise you what ends up in S tier, I will say. I'll just leave that cliffhanger for you. That's going to be at Novice Cinephile. And Isaac, I know we're doing Attack on Titan. That's most likely already up by the time you're listening to this. What else we got here over at Amateur Otaku?
Well, we are starting to covering Doraron, the new Shonen Jump manga, and we are also, what else is we are doing again? We haven't been able to do the Nini Resurrection commentary track because of schedule, but we are going to try and do it next, or should I say this week, but it's going to happen, I can promise you that. And I can't recall. There is some stuff else that we are going to do, and well, we are also doing My Hero Vigilantes from on this channel, as you probably noticed, which is the pretty enjoyable spin-off manga of My Hero Academia.
Prequel spin-off. Yep. Leo,
Prequel / spin-off.
I know you're behind, but dude, Vigilante's really good. Even if you ain't joined us for reviews, I think you'd enjoy checking it out when you got some more time.
I know, man. I definitely got it on the list. I can't wait to catch up.
So good. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today, talking some My Hero Academia. If there's any other videos you want us to do, let us know. We did that theories video a few weeks back, which is pretty fun, because you probably want to absorb all the MHA content you can get, because I have a prediction that this series is going to end chapter 400 at the rate we're going. So that's fairly soon. We'll see if we even get into 400. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Go Beyond. Plus Ultra. Peace. Plus Ultra.